All right, everybody. Welcome back to Gambling Savant. We have a very familiar face here, Mr. Tyler Boone with Boonerings.com. And today we're going to go through crypto, personal life, and current state of affairs with the United States, the world, kind of touch on a few things that may be impacting our daily life. It'll be fun. Tyler and I always have a nice, easy breezy flow of conversation. We get our thoughts rolling, our juices flowing, and we certainly have a lot of fun discussing different topics like this. And so I want to hand the mic off to Tyler. It really is truly a pleasure to have you on here. And what do you have for us?
Awesome, man. Well, yeah, it's great to be talking to you again. It's been a minute. I know we've both been pretty busy lately. We'll probably get into that later in the combo here, but yeah, man, things are a little wild out there in crypto and otherwise, and just the world in general. And so it's it's one of those things. It's like, for me as like a aspiring business owner, or like a current business owner trying to build out something, it's a little scary, honestly, because you just don't know what tomorrow's going to look like. And especially with crypto, what we just saw with Terra and everything going on, like anything can happen in the blink of an eye. Regulations, like, you just don't know. And so it's a little scary, but at the same time, I'm really optimistic about it, because I do believe that this space is here to stay. It's just going to be a pretty bumpy ride before we get to that point. But I've just been kind of behind the scenes trying to get this business off the ground. I'm calling it the Thai Project. So it's thaiproject.xyz is the website. And it's not completely launched yet, because I'm still trying to nail down a payment processor. I've been dropped by multiple payment processors just because I'm involved in crypto. And it's dumb, because like, as a business, I'm not even planning to accept crypto directly. Like, I'll probably use something like BitPay to where I can accept crypto, but I will be taking US dollars as a business to the bank account. So I won't be custodying crypto. And even that, just having products that are related to crypto is enough to get these payment processors and even a lot of banks to like look the other way and be like, "No, we don't want to take the risk. We don't want to deal with that." So it's been a much more of a headache than I ever thought it would be. But with that being said, I think I have a solution in the wings, and hopefully that'll be up within the next like week or so, and then I can officially launch. But
sure.
Yeah.
So it sounds like business is good. Your pursuit is on track of certain things you want to accomplish with your platform and your product, so on and so forth. Is this advancement in payment affecting your long-term goal currently, or are you still able to conduct business in a certain way, or is it restricting your growth because of the fact that crypto is now in process of regulation? And banks, of course, a lot of the money's backed by the federal government, so there's this confusion or lack of acceptance of this technology in certain sectors, right?
Right. Yeah, well, so essentially right now, like, I'm doing okay because I'm able to kind of focus on like B2B right now. So I'm onboarding, and it's kind of a blessing in disguise, because originally I was going to be going straight to consumer and make like, the keychains and that sort of thing, which is what I did before. But now I'm kind of like in a position where I can kind of send invoices out to like individuals and businesses and stuff. And so I've been trying to like onboard, companies to make like branded merchandise for them. And so in the process of doing that, I've kind of realized like, there are certain products like these cards, for example, like the bottle opener cards. Those are great products to give away at conferences and stuff like that.
Sure.
With branding on it, especially with a QR code on it that leads to an onboarding page or something for that business. And so I've been kind of thinking along those terms of like, can I actually provide value to these companies that will perhaps increase conversion rates or get their brand out in front of other people organically? And so that's the idea. And so far, like, I've been working with Gala Games and Link2 also recently. I've just I got a order from them. They're going to be ordering all these different cards, and they'll be giving those away at different investor conferences that they go to. So I'm thinking that right now is going to be like kind of a big push of mine, big focus. And so like I have a LinkedIn page for the business, and I'm going to be doing a lot of LinkedIn marketing and trying to find like brand marketing representatives, things like that I can kind of like connect with and stuff. I'm also trying to connect with more people on LinkedIn in the crypto space just to kind of like make my presence more known. So there's that front, which I think is big. Of course, there's still B2C, which I'm going to be big into once the site's up, and I'll be doing actual paid advertising on Twitter and Instagram. But then also the third kind of big segment here is arc plates. So I've basically the arc plate, I'm not sure if you're familiar or not, but they're these little plates. They're stainless steel. Yep, and you can basically just punch your private keys in there for your wallet. So this one's for the Sun wallet, and this one's for more of like a ledger or something. This is coming soon. This one's out now, but essentially, I think this is one of those products where it's actually like useful for people. Like you can really get a lot of value out of this. You get the peace of mind of having your keys stored on something that's not going to get lost in a fire or a flood or whatever. And so I think that this right here is going to be a very important lineup to the product line. And so I think between arc plates and these cards, which can be completely customized, I think those are going to be like the two kind of the flagship products of the store. And then the keychains, medallions, dog tags, all that kind of stuff will be more like add-on type items.
Kind of secondary.
I think so. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. I mean, I might be wrong because like it is hard to gauge exactly where people's interests are going to lie. I mean, it's like for whatever reason, I'm just historically bad at judging exactly like what people are going to want ahead of time. But that's kind of my theory right now. And so I'm going to position myself accordingly, and then just kind of structure the business in such a way, or the website layout in such a way that those things get highlighted. And then the rest kind of is like, oh, do you want to throw this in there as well, kind of thing.
Are you realizing with your type of platform, like things I've been involved in, you always think more the merrier type mindset where try to expose yourself to anybody and everybody. Are you seeing now getting more detailed with who you want to do business with, that yes, you're going to have the dog tags and reach out to many communities within the crypto or any other community for that matter. Right. But are you kind of seeing a different trail current day where you think you might be more in the aspect of having less consumer base as opposed to selling millions of keychains, for example?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that like I always want to have like a heavy consumer based presence, just because obviously that's every sale of a direct consumer product is way more profitable than a bulk order of something.
Sure.
But beyond the profit too, I mean, it's just I feel like there are a lot of people out there that find value in not only like the keychains and stuff, but I think the cards and some of the other products that I'm going to be coming out with down the line. I think, the fact that they can be so personalized and they can be exactly like what that individual wants. It caters more to individual sales than it does to even large scale consumer or, business wholesale anyway. So yeah, like definitely going to be focused on both. And I'm not going to particularly I'm not planning on going completely one way or the other. I want to be like almost half and half if I can. I think that would be a good balance. But, with that being said, like I do think that it would be I think it'd be smart to kind of focus on things outside of crypto as well as crypto, if that makes sense. So like, what I'm doing right now, like I want the exposure to the crypto community just because like it's something that I'm personally interested in. First of all, I think that it's got a great future, and I think that it would be smart to align, the business interests with my own investment, like where I actually have my money, like I feel like it makes sense to kind of put my money where my mouth is, if that makes sense, and kind of position the business in such a way that if I am correct with my investment decision, then the business will thrive as well. So I think that makes sense. But then also too, in a way, you know, a lot of these products don't have to be crypto. Like they could be any brand, you know, and that's kind of what like Link to is the first step, I think, for me. You know, they obviously have a lot of crypto exposure. They have a lot of crypto related businesses that they offer private equity on their platform for, but they also have other businesses that are not necessarily crypto related. And so to be able to showcase that, like, I can make merchandise for Link to that's valuable to them. I could also make merch for, you know, Black Rifle Coffee Company or, you know, whatever, you know what I mean? Like it could be a YouTuber that does rap reactions or something. I mean, who knows?
Yeah,
It
right.
doesn't matter like what it is, as long as the, you know, both that individual or company find value in it and their customers find value in it. So
Yeah, no, that's a great explanation. And I think it's interesting with businesses right now. I think the lie of the land is a bit deceiving in the sense that we're seeing commercials. Everybody's crypto friendly. They're talking about crypto, Bitcoin, this, that, the other, XYZ token, naming sports venues after cryptocurrency. And we're seeing a lot of exposure, but the elephant in the room is the federal government and regulation. And that is where current day, my vision has gotten blurry with things. We knew it was coming. It has to happen. We have to go through the heartache of this process. It was never going to happen any other way. The wild, wild west of crypto, while it's not over, the window's closing dramatically, and that's okay. It may be a rough segment of time, which we're realizing right now. Relatively speaking, though, comparing this to 6 months ago, to 12 months ago, to 10 years ago, we're still ahead of the game, right? And we are seeing some form of adoption. We are seeing some form of the onset of regulation, call it. So it's a bumpy road, but the wheels are turning. We are progressing. And that's all we can really ask for as enthusiasts, as investors, as supporters of this technology. And we have a true understanding of the technology in large part. I don't know every single token and what it does and what its use case is, but in the grand scheme of things, my vision's clear on cryptocurrency, how it can benefit us, how it can benefit countries and governments, and so on and so forth. So that's hard to argue. The benefits are difficult to argue, considering the current state of affairs with inflation, with wars, with the value of fiat, and where are things headed, right? So, you know, we could have an entire conversation on this alone, I'm sure. Not that we can't elaborate here, but what are your thoughts? I mean, you see the adoption in the sense that it's on every commercial, the Super Bowl, every commercial is about crypto. I mean, I'm exaggerating here, but you know what I'm saying? It's all we're seeing, but the utility is not quite there yet. It's just not.
Yeah. So like, I completely agree with you. I think that it's becoming more and more talked about. It's becoming more mainstream. A lot of companies are backing it just because it's a popular thing. But I think that there are still systemic risks within the crypto market that are, you know, kind of rearing their ugly heads right now. You know, it's like this whole Tether thing. I've been kind of talking about Tether for a long, long time, and you know, it's one of those things that it's like, well, it hasn't imploded yet, so I guess it's fine forever, kind of thing. You know, people just they don't take the risk of Tether seriously enough, in my opinion. So like what we saw with Terra Luna and then the stablecoin UST, and how much damage that was able to do in such a short period of time to the whole crypto market, I really do believe that if that same thing happened to Tether, I mean, that event could bankrupt Coinbase. You know, it could bankrupt a lot of like these, you know, major crypto platforms that we feel like are, you know, kind of too big to fail. You know, we could see the end of a lot of these things if they're not adequately planning for, you know, some major thing like that happening, because I mean, like everything is tied to Tether. like there's a tether pair for everything. And so what would even happen to the market? I think it would be a very, very, very terrible thing. So that being said, I do believe that we have, the traditional gigantic incumbent banks like Goldman Sachs, et cetera, like they are kind of in this position where they're ready to get involved in crypto. They want a piece of the pie. They see these institutions like Coinbase coming along and, getting all this business, and they want that business, right? So they are kind of getting their custody prepared in the background, and it seems like their buddies in the government are like kind of positioning things such that they can really crack down on the Coinbases of the world, and then allow these the big boys to come in and then offer a competitive service, and then buy up all these assets like at such a low price, if the market happens to implode or something. So I just see, I don't know, maybe I'm cynical, but I just see something like that, some kind of scenario like that happening where it's like just really kind of dramatically bad. And we think we see fear now. Imagine what would happen if Tether went. I mean, it would just be like Armageddon, and then you have this complete shift of like incumbents like coming in, embracing it, buying it. You get a complete reversal of the narrative, and then boom, V-shaped recovery, just like Amazon stock in the when the internet bubble blew up in whatever year that was, 2000 or something. It had a 96% drop in very short period of time, and then it just went for 20 years, just like up and up and up and up and up. I see something like that happening with crypto, and it's not going to happen to every cryptocurrency. Obviously, it's going to happen to a few, and I believe it's going to be the ones that have real utility, ones that really solve problems in the world.
Doesn't something like that, a scenario like that, have to take place at this point?
I think so.
How does, using the United States alone, how does this sustain itself? I mean, really, and I don't have exact answers. It's more of a hypothetical question, right? But how does it sustain? It can't. I mean, not for decades, for a few years, possibly. I mean, there's a lot of people in trouble right now.
Yeah.
It's feast or famine. The rich get richer, and the middle class is becoming non-existent. It's very difficult to survive as a middle class individual, which a lot of the United States is, of course. And then you have you get rewarded if you are on the streets, and you get rewarded if you are worth hundreds of millions of dollars. And so, and not to, judge anybody, people are going to do what they want. And I'm happy for whatever people choose to do, or their living circumstances, whether they're happy or are trying to improve things. But that's just kind of the way I see it right now.
Yeah.
And then wildly enough, we have this thriving housing market, which seems artificially inflated, which is probably agreed upon by most, and there's an argument there that prices are where they should be because of the 2008 crash, that now prices are back to where historically they should have been without the crash. Okay, I can get on board with that at some level, but many millions of Americans can't buy a house.
Exactly. Demand is going to plummet, which is going to force the price to correct, I think.
There it is. And so once again, who's involved? The government, and they should be. There's federally backed loans all over the place, right? That's a very common way of getting funding for these home buyers. And so of course they have control at some level, but what I have to say about the crypto market in relation to the housing market, I guess, with their control and their power that we're not really hearing about, we're never going to see it written in an article. You and I know, other investors of crypto and, professionals know, but we're almost having a reset within crypto. The Wild West aspect is virtually gone forever. They are going to reconstruct things with their own guidelines and regulation and taxes as they see fit.
Yeah.
Yes, prices aren't going to go to zero, but they're certainly not going to go to all-time highs right now. And I don't think we could have expected that. I don't know obviously many people didn't know what to expect. Otherwise, we would have all sold every token that we own. Right.
I know. Yeah.
So,
well, it's hard to know. And also too, it's like, well, what happens when we do enter a regulatory environment or an environment where we have clarity with regulations and, we have major institutions coming in and they feel safe to do so, right? And they start offering these services for crypto, and like, what is it going to look like when, real utilities being utilized like on a massive scale? Like, are we going to even, are these trends that we've been watching for these past 10 years even going to continue, or are we going to have some kind of complete like separation from current trends and have something totally unexpected happen with price? I don't know.
I'm so happy you said that, because always expect the unexpected, right?
Yes. Yes.
I can certainly see a major transformation in even the landscape of the crypto facet, 100%, because to integrate it at a snail's pace is probably not likely. Maybe adoption throughout globally could take some time, but using the United States, for example, and any other first world country, I mean, how do you do it slowly? People, it's like people living without electricity. Are there still examples of that in the world? Yes, but not many, right? And then you can use that in any other refrigeration, automobiles, right? There are people that live in the backwoods like that are not up to date with technology, but it's far and few between. So the way I look at it is they kind of have to hit the switch, provide us with what the regulations are, the tax implications, so on and so forth, and start allowing these companies that are adopting the technology and are voicing themselves about, hey, we're crypto friendly, this, that, the other.
Yeah.
Hey, on such and such date, 2000, such and such, the entire country is going to start accepting cryptocurrency because regulation's been implemented. Here it is.
Yeah.
Here's the guidelines.
It's hard to even imagine like how that process is going to roll out and what it's going to look like, and if it's going to be really friendly to businesses, et cetera. Like it is, it's like part of me is very cynical about just the government and kind of like what they ultimately want to do. And it's like, I think it's kind of up to us to just see the trends, and kind of see like where, like what technology is going to be adopted in the future, most likely, and kind of just like latch onto it, try to utilize it in some way early on, be early adopters. And that's kind of our best bet, just because right now it seems like with inflation going the way it is, obviously just holding cash is not, it's risky, just because it's like, saving isn't like saving in the 70s, before we went off the gold standard. Back then saving made sense. Now it's like you're just holding debt. So there's a difference there. But then, so a lot of people, they invest in the stock market, things like that. But I feel like we're kind of at a point where people are not necessarily investing in companies because they believe in what those companies are doing. Fundamentally, they're investing in companies because they want to just get rid of their dollars and put it into something that they think can earn the money. And I think if enough people do that, then like fundamentals just go out the window, because it's not about the fundamentals. It's about like, just, I need to make money here. I need to not lose my value, my purchasing power. So that's what a lot of people are doing. Same thing with crypto to some extent. I mean, not completely, but I just think that right now, with the Fed tightening supply and, kind of taking the measures that they are right now, increasing rates and things, they're crashing the markets, right? And because that's how they're combating inflation. So, some people are thinking that, well, eventually they're going to reverse course and start printing again, and then markets are going to go back up as relief. But I personally, and again, like, none of this is financial advice or anything, I'm just trying to speculate here, but I don't think that they're going to capitulate and, start printing again and then, just to save the markets. I don't think they even care about the markets at all. I think they just They care about their mandate. And so I think that we're still in for more downturn in the market. There's just a lot kind of going on. I mean, we saw the Walmart numbers come out the other day. I mean, it was like worse than it's been since Black Monday in the 80s.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, seriously, it's ominous looking at sales of these major retailers. And we think about a company like Walmart, we're like, well, Walmart can never go out of business. But think about Sears, think about Kmart. These were gigantic companies, like monolithic companies that nobody ever thought would fail, and they both failed, you know. And I mean, imagine what would happen if I mean, I'm not saying Walmart's going to fail. I'm just saying that they missed their numbers like big time. And if
it's not out of the realm of possibilities for them to file for bankruptcy at some level. It's not, I mean, it's not likely, but hey, who knows? I mean, Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, right?
Yeah.
And you take him for what he is. He's been correct on many things. He's always in the public eye, so I use his name lightly. But you know, he's not going to be surprised if Bitcoin goes down to $9,000.
Yeah,
I mean, it's a real possibility. Once again, opinion, yes, but he's basing it off of something. He's not just pulling numbers out of thin air, right? So you can use all these different examples. He was just one that I saw headlined, right?
Yeah.
So it's a scary environment. I'm in a situation. I'm currently a homeowner. I have been a homeowner and I've rented throughout my life at different times. I just so happen to be a homeowner at this current moment. I have a situation, buy or sell and rebuy, sell and rent, or stay where I'm at and ride it out and ride out the investment, call it, and roll the dice on a potential crash of sorts. Yeah. So, and I'm in a situation and it's funny, you know, you bring up the long-term aspect. I was talking with my dad on the phone related to this housing market and what to do and juggling around some ideas. And we got on the topic and it just struck me as we were talking, giving it no thought. I said, Dad, I can't really prepare and plan for the future like you could. A 10 and 20 year plan for me is almost non-existent. And a 30-year plan, a 401k to retire at 68 years old, 30 or 40 years from now. Yeah, I can't even go there. No. The landscape of this world is so inconsistent. No. It's so volatile. It's so dangerous, both physically and financially. Yeah. I mean, 5 years from now is long-term for me.
Yeah, same.
To be honest,
it's hard to really think about, you know, plans that long-term because, you know, like you said, it's just everything is so flippant and transitory and things change like in an instant on the flip of a switch. Like it's just tomorrow could look completely different than today. Again, I mean, I'm just think back to Luna. Like so many people had so much faith in that project and they were thinking long-term. There are all these projects being built on it. And they have all this clout and they're working with these people. They're working with and then it went to like zero within 2 days.
Is it correct that Binance held $1.6 billion worth of Luna and it went down to $3,000 total? Is that correct? Is that an accurate statement?
I think it is. I know.
Now, how disgusting is that, right?
Yeah. And they were.
And so yeah, what I'm seeing is these exchanges are taking on risk. Yes. So to even list a token, they're taking the risk, right? Because they have to hold the supply. Then secondary is the investor, the consumer, call it, of the token. They have more risk than we do in some ways, depending on how the project is configured with supply and what they offer and what they hold, right? Because there's a prime example. They lose essentially $1.6 billion within hours. I mean, how can that sustain? Sustainability is maybe the key word to everybody's life right now.
Yes.
Sustainability with careers, investments, business, simply providing right now, fuel and food alone, right? So this isn't designed to be a sob story and to be negative, but it's real life. A lot of viewers, a lot of everybody that we know is in some sort of predicament, whether it's good, bad, or otherwise. There's lots of decision making right now, and they're big decisions. And
Yes.
do you stay on the trail with a job that's not making you enough money? You're barely getting by. Do you switch careers entirely? Do you go back to school? Do you touch your investments to start a business? There's all these questions, and what a fascinating time, even though it's not desirable in many ways. It's fascinating to see how this progression is going to take place and the unfolding of all this.
Exactly. Well, I think it's important to like always do our best to kind of see the silver lining in every situation because of the fear and uncertainty in this world right now and the markets and everything. I think what comes with that is massive, massive, massive opportunity if you know what you're looking for. And I'm not claiming to know what to look for exactly. I think I know, but it is really hard to predict kind of where everything is going. But in my opinion, just based on kind of like what I've gathered over the last few months and even year plus, is that right now, again, with the Fed policies going on, the tightening in order to kind of protect us from inflation or whatever, crashing the markets, all that kind of stuff. I think that really like the only safe thing is if you can like increase your cash flow right now. I think cash flow is king. And I know it's much easier said than done. Like a lot of people are they're employed. And so they have a fixed income. And, that's kind of why, like, I've been wanting just for a long time, like I've been wanting to kind of do my own thing as a business, because while it is a lot more risky than having a job, you are not limited to the amount of money that you could potentially make. Right.
Absolutely.
So if you find something that works, you find an audience of people that, appreciate and find value in what you do, then you'll always have a job. If you can accept money over the internet and you can market your product, that's like the true dream, right? And it's, again, like I've been struggling with this for months now, just trying to get set up using a payment processor and all this crap that I'm dealing with right now. But in some days I'm like, what, is this even worth it? Should I just go out and find a freaking job somewhere out here? And, then I stop myself and I'm like, no, you know what? Like, this is a real opportunity. Like what you're doing here is real, and like, there's people that want this, and like, you can benefit businesses and things like that. And it's like, I have to like give myself pep talks sometimes, just because it's like, there's so much going on. It's hard, man. It's like, things are certain, and there's cash flow issues right now. Like there's, like Shopify's holding like $4,000 of mine from this big order, and I had to pay for it out of pocket, and like, they're holding it for 4 months. And then I have to, like use another payment processor in the meantime. And it's just been like really kind of unstable, to say the least, these last 3 months or so. But with all that being said, it's like I've managed to kind of keep my investments where they are. I haven't had to dip into them. It's been tight. I've had to borrow some money from people, but like,
that's part of doing business, I mean,
exactly.
Business loans are all out there, and
yeah,
most businesses go in, start their businesses and debt over their heads.
Oh yeah.
And they're not profitable until year 3, 5, 6, 7. Right. Yeah, so, right. I understand though, that's not what the direction you want to go. But what I've experienced in business and different things I've pursued is that once you kind of close one door, in my experience, I never really thought about it again, in the sense that, oh, that business I shut down, I sold, I started something new. I've got a new interest, a new vision, and you just kind of keep moving. Right. So like in your case, now you're delving into these other, same direction, but right, different trail, kind of a little bit different trail that you're going down, and your vision's changing a little bit. Your perspective on things change, and you may go a very drastically different direction at some point. And that's fun. It's thrilling. It's part of being an entrepreneur, and never look back type thing is the way I've been successful with, not even financially, but just keeping my mindset straight. Just don't look back. Yeah. Take your skills that you've honed and apply them to your new day in the life. Right.
Exactly.
Before we move on, I want to touch on the chat real quick, kind of left them out of the topic of conversation here. I want to say hi to Lester. It's been a while, Lester. It's so good to see you in the chat, man. Thank you for joining us. We've got DSI 090. He says, you've been gone for a minute, Gambling Savant. Good to see you back in action. Matter of fact, I have been gone for quite a while. I had to really take a step back from crypto. I don't mind the type of person that I am and the experience I've had with money, gambling, especially playing poker, investments. I've had lots of highs and lows, like any gambler, call it. And I call myself a gambler. I don't live that way. I'm not a super high risk taker, actually, but I have definitely put myself out there and been vulnerable to highs and lows on many things. And this one got me to the point where I had to remove myself mentally, emotionally, and in this case, physically from it, voicing my opinion out here, spreading awareness about different projects, primarily Casino Coin. It has nothing to do with Casino Coin. I still support that project. I'm invested in that project. I love the technology. On that note, I think Casino Coin is going to go in the direction of the metaverse, much more so than actually servicing online casinos. That they will do that, of course. I just see the metaverse now being kind of their way to plug in at a higher level with more adoption and success. That's my opinion. I think they've got a great team. I am bullish. And like I said, my removal of YouTube and Twitter has nothing to do with Casino Coin. When you look at their accomplishments and the team they've built and their new roadmap, I will be putting out some videos shortly about the advancements of that project. The trading price is not desirable. Okay. And it's not desirable because of Casino Coin's efforts or lack thereof. It's the market. Everything's paired with Bitcoin and this and that, and the whole market goes down. And we have seen a substantial drop in many projects like that. So, like I said, we'll get on that train shortly in the coming days or weeks. I'll get back on track with Casino Coin. I am ready to get back. I realize taking this break how much I do enjoy this platform. I've missed talking with gentlemen and other individuals, guys and gals, about these topics, about life, about crypto. And I do enjoy it. I thoroughly enjoy it. So we'll move on. GK family. He says, yeah, guys, he's there. Bring me Conjoy. Yo, what's up, man? Crypto Beast. He says, aloha. We've got Lester firing away. Lester's always usually one of the first people on these streams, so I love seeing him in here. David Rothschild, what's up, guys? Who else do we have? So we got a few pretty well-known followers of the channel, and both Gambling Savant and Tyler Boone, of course. So here we are. We got the community back a little bit. We'll continue on doing these, and
sure,
as the landscape changes, as new topics come about, and I know Tyler and I love shooting the breeze and expressing ourselves here, because it takes a certain individual to be able to really discuss certain things, and we always delve off into this direction and that direction and find other things to talk about. But like we've talked before, we can't just go call the high school buddy or college buddy and talk about this stuff. You get lost, right? So what else do you got? I mean, we always have these really natural conversations. We don't have some, bullet points that we have to hit and have it all structured, which is kind of just our style, I think.
For sure, man.
What do you have coming out? Do you have an exciting product, or I know there's a lot going on. I mean,
there's a lot going
talk
on.
about your opportunity till the end of time, I'm sure right now with these opportunities, but where are you headed, like by the end of the year? What's your goal of sorts? First and foremost, a payment processor, right?
Yeah.
Will that really launch things?
Yes, that's kind of the final puzzle piece, really. The website is almost complete. Like I honestly should have it done within the next day or two. Got a few more things to kind of touch up on it, but it's looking good. I'm really happy with it. I think the layout's great. I think it'll be a high converting site. I actually, so it's through Shopify right now, and I did pay for this template, and I paid for it because I loved it. And it was, not cheap, but I think again, like it's going to work. I have, so the old site had like a bunch of different, kind of like options, right? Where it's like, okay, I want to have, fade anodizing, or I want to have this color or whatever. And it was all kind of, you could see everything at once. The way that this site works is, I think, a lot better, where you only see options that are relevant to your selection. So you have, like, say, for example, you have a keychain, right? The first thing that it's going to ask you is, what material do you want? So there's going to be titanium, and there's going to be stainless steel now. So stainless steel is going to be cheaper. So keychains are going to start out at around $17 instead of 25. So there's going to be a much better price point to get started. And even cards, full size cards that are like credit card size, those are going to start out at 29. So that's much better than over $100, which is what I was, doing before. So I really do think the cards are going to be like a big seller. And that's why I want to put those front and center, just because they can be completely custom, and you can have your own QR code on them. And now QR codes I can actually customize to, look a certain way. I can put emblems in the middle. Like, here's an example. I don't know how well you can see.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but that's like a business card, right? So this is a card. It's in this nice little packaging. You got your sticker in there. You got the QR codes on the back for coming back for 10% off. You got the link tree in there with all the different social media. But this is kind of what to expect. You get something in the mail, it's going to come in something like this, vacuum sealed in a plastic wrap. But yeah, this is a card. And, with the laser, I can do black, white, and gray engraving. So I can actually get kind of different like logos and different things that have multiple colors. I can kind of represent them a little bit more accurately with just engraving. So like stainless steel, it's got basically all the same properties as titanium, as far as, scratch resistance, corrosion resistance, all that kind of stuff. The only real difference is that titanium is 60% of the weight of stainless. So stainless is heavier. But you know what? Some people like that. If you're going to get a card like this one right here, stainless, it weighs like 1.7 ounces or so, whereas titanium with the same size would be like 0.6 ounces. So it's like it's substantially lighter, and you do feel a difference. But some people think that the heavier feels more premium and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, and the material cost of titanium is substantially more than stainless is. So anyway, I'm going to offer those options. Then, so stainless, you can't anodize it like you can with titanium. So like you can only get it brushed as an option. But if you select titanium, then it'll come up with, do you want anodizing, right? And so then you can go down the list, and it's like you have the color, the solid, the fade, and then pattern, right? You click on, say, solid, and then it'll pop up with like swaths. Like you pick your color, and you can only pick one if you do the solid. But if you do a fade, then there's a bunch of fades that pop up. So it's going to be like a much better user experience. I think it's going to be a lot more like user friendly. You see all the different like options much clearer on this new website. So I'm really excited for people to see it and kind of play with it. And even the patterns, it's like you'll see what the pattern would look like with the different anodizing patterns I can do. And so like over time, I can just add to that list, and I won't have to like take pictures of every single keychain, with that on it. As I make them, I will take a picture of that keychain and then add it to the listing so that you can see what different things are, but I'll just do it like as I make them, instead of like, having every single option for every single thing. So anyway, that's kind of like the big thing with the website. And I think people are going to really like that. And then with the cards, because they can be completely custom, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have maybe like 5 or so kind of preset like design templates that they can choose from. And then they can kind of say, oh, this is my name, this is like my title or whatever. I want to have this in the side. we'll figure that out. But of course, like the QR codes and the text will be like, you can edit that and it'll be just built in. But if you want something truly custom, like I could work one-on-one with the customer and do that, that would, cost a little bit extra, but not, substantially. And then we could do completely custom stuff. So I think cards are going to be big, but then these bottle opener cards are another thing that I'm excited about. So they, same size as, regular credit card, but you can, open bottles with them. And
Very cool.
Yeah, you know what? And so this one's like a Sum Wallet version, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
right.
On there, and
yeah.
QR code on the back or whatever you want.
That's great. So is the stainless option applying to all of your product?
Yeah. So keychains, medallions, even. It's 304 stainless steel. So yeah, it's got virtually all the same properties as titanium, but it's just heavier and cheaper. So,
by the way, how's your father doing?
He's doing good.
Is Boonerings chugging along? I know he likes the customization type and you really using his, just his natural talent, I guess, to lack of better phrasing, is just that custom design, right? Of designing rings and all other types of jewelry and stuff,
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
So he's doing well.
Good. Yeah, he's doing good. He's actually, bike parts are selling pretty well.
That's right. Yeah. Is he going to the show still? Is it time now to kick back into gear with
summer
shows and that?
Typically summertime is like a pretty busy season. Like a lot of people are building bikes around now. It's kind of more so in the springtime that people are building their bikes and they're like riding them in the summer, but there's still a lot of people that are like, oh, I need to buy an extra cog or whatever. Like business is still, it's doing all right. It's not like super fantastic, but it's doing good, all things considered, with inflation and all the craziness going on in the world. He's getting by. And I'm hoping too, like with my business, it's like I can actually bring in some products from his store that I think would be relevant, like rings, things like that, engraved stuff, whatever, even bike parts, hell, why not? And just list them. And like, if I sell them, then, he would get his 70-80% of the cut or whatever the number is, and basically just fulfill the order. And I can bring business to him. So I really want to be able to do that for him hopefully very soon, and, support him as well, because like, it's just, times are tough for sure for business owners.
Yeah. Teamwork makes the dream work. Right. So it's kind of where things began for you, of course, and you're growing up as a child seeing this, and now you're running your own show, and now it goes full circle, kind of back to collaborate with your own father in a way. Right. And that's really, pretty cool.
It's really cool. And, sometimes I've been right now, like I don't have a laser cutter on site, where I'm at. I have my engraver. So, if I want to have things cut, I can get it done with like a third party, but a lot of times I'll actually, have him do it and kind of keep that money within the family as well. So I'll pay him, to just to have him cut stuff for me and then just send it over, and then I can deburr and finish everything, so he doesn't have to do that, just basically cut it out. And I pay him for that. So, I like being able to do that kind of stuff. And I'm, again, hoping that like, as time goes on, I can bring him a lot more business and more things to do. But, we'll kind of see how it plays out.
There was a point in time before you moved, I believe, to the St. Louis area. You were looking at options to outsource some of that type of work, whether it be other laser cutting to, handle some of these larger orders and that. Mm-hmm. So now you're kind of, in a sense, using your father as the outsource. Is that fair to say, or is that? Yeah,
no, it is. And it's a mixture. So sometimes like the third party that I use, like, cause they're able to do it for very, pretty competitive prices, because they are able to order so much material. But sometimes they are not able to make certain cuts that different designs that I send over, they're not able to do it because it's outside of their parameters. Whereas like our laser can do it, or theirs probably can, they just don't like to do it because, the rate of returns of things that come back. They just know it's like, if it's with outside of this range, like chances are they're going to return it. So we don't even want to deal with it. Like they're just going to reject it. So, so for that kind of stuff, I definitely have my dad do it. And sometimes for like the thicker things like medallions and stuff, it makes more sense to have them do those. But yeah, like I'm kind of doing a mixture of both. And we'll kind of see
testing the waters.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, like what I really want is to be able to buy my own laser. I know which one I want. I'm drooling over it, but it's like, almost $500,000, and it's not. Like,
is that right?
Yeah.
I mean, it just seems insane to me that the tech. I mean, for a machine to be able to do what it's doing, though, at the precision rate, right? I mean, it's pretty. It's beyond me. I mean,
no, it's crazy to watch. I mean, really, it's. I mean, we're talking over 1,000 inches per minute of feed rate. And it's cutting through like. Stock that's half an inch thick, and it's just going, I mean, it's absolutely unbelievable to watch. 4,000 watts, continuous too, not even like pulsing. It's continually 4,000 watts. So it can cut through almost anything. And it's super accurate. And the table is like 4 by 4 feet, and it comes out like a drawer, and you can take out all your parts. It's like a dream. So ultimately, like, that's what I want, and like, I think that it's possible to get there. Like, absolutely. Within
does being around that equipment ever, you have some, it seems as though you have some sort of passion for that technology as well. Do you ever see yourself trying to engineer your own concept or perfect machine and match up with like an inventor of sorts or something, or no? Is that just not on the table as an option? Or
I think I
could see that happening,
right. Yeah. I mean, certainly not something like that, because the work that goes into making that sort of machine is just absolutely unfathomable. And like, these guys are the best in the world at what they do. It's like built on granite. Like, it has a granite base so that it can reduce vibrations from the shop and make it that much more accurate. Like, every little thing matters as far as, how you build a machine. You got the linear motors and everything, just to keep that tolerance as fine as possible, to get, jewelry quality. Like, you could do very small, like watch parts if you wanted to, or you could do something as big as a sign, and have it work. That's the kind of piece of equipment that I would ultimately want to do. Like, my dad, he always had this mantra of like, buy the most, capable machine that you can afford at the time, and then grow into it. Because, you could skimp out and buy a machine that's going to be, a tenth of the price, that can do the same thing, but it's not going to have as good of a quality, and it might not last as long. Right. So you got to kind of weigh out. I mean, and it doesn't always make sense to go and buy the most expensive thing. You got to do your research, obviously. But, if you buy a machine that is extremely capable, then that sets the bar, so high that, like, if anyone wants to compete with you, they have to drop $400,000 to get that same piece of equipment in order to offer the same kinds of things that you do at the turnaround times that you're able to offer.
Well, and it's not the world of computers where, like, we've taken several shop tours of your dad's shop that you had now integrated yourself into, and you had your own section of the shop, and you showed us a lot of machines. And a lot of those machines, granted, they're extremely high dollar. They are older pieces where you were kind of explaining, hey, this one's been around for such and such length of time. This one, hey, my dad, this was his first type, that type of flow of conversation. And I'm like, well, wait, he grew into them like he told you to do, it sounds like. Yeah. And those machines are still, the precision is still 100% of what it was as when it was new, basically. And so,
I mean, it's certainly adequate,
and so also on the flip side, if you run into, you take construction, for example, home builders, let's just use home builders. If you start out as a small company, you might be able to handle a house or two every couple months, right? Then you add a crew and you can handle double that. Well, with the proper equipment in your industry, you can handle an order of several thousand pieces with the proper machinery
Yeah.
and equipment, right? So, I mean, there's another aspect to it too. And especially when you're dealing with businesses and communities such as cryptocurrency and so on and so forth, where you've had some large orders like that.
Yeah.
And yeah, you have to work through the learning curve of handling orders like that and the flow and the turnaround time, but you've handled it, and you've handled it because you have access to the proper equipment, right? It sounds like.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, and I'm constantly trying to think about ways to kind of improve processes and make things more efficient and lean, because I could, hire people and kind of just like replace my own labor, which is fine. And I will do that in the future. But, it's like if I need to optimize the process like as much as possible before even getting to that point. You know what I mean? Like put in that sweat equity first, and also optimize that process, and then teach that process to someone else. That's how I'm planning to scale, because there's things as simple as like with these arc plates, for example. It's like these plates, they come and they're the edges are really rough. You see the laser marks on them. So I'm like sanding them on the belt sander, like one by one by hand. And it's like, okay, if I'm going to be doing like 10,000 units a year of these things, like, for example, like say like, we have a big company that wants to order a whole bunch of these with branding on it or whatever, hypothetically, would I be able to do that as like an individual? Like, no, I mean, unless I'm just a slave, like
right.
it's
Exactly.
possible, but and so
The man hours doesn't make sense, right?
Yeah, exactly. But, that being said, it's like, I'm thinking about ways. It's like, well, I could do 100 at a time this way. If I constrain it this way and do this and do that, I'd have to build a special jig to do this. And so I'm thinking in terms of that, like of scale, and that's something that I haven't really thought about as much of before, because I was kind of positioning this business as like this is a high-end merchandise type thing. I'm not planning to do massive volumes of stuff. I'm just planning to do kind of like more one-off, highly custom things. But now I'm kind of thinking like, well, I can actually, so the highly custom aspect is still there, but I can actually streamline highly custom. And then you get the best of both worlds. It's like I can do that, but it's not, I can make processes out of each custom piece, or do limited runs of certain things and turn that into a process and make it as efficiently as possible, And so I just think and so that's going to allow me to be more competitive with pricing. It's going to allow me to kind of get into other segments and kind of do things like the arc plate, for example, like be able to sell this for $25 and still make a profit on it. Like that's hard, as someone in America trying to make a living, like with prices going through the roof of everything. It's like, can you, and then also too, it's like giving commission to the stakeholders, and it's like some wallet's going to get their cut, and Dave, the creator of ArcPlate, is going to get his cut as well. So, I also have to be very careful about pricing, because if I go too low and then I have a discount down the road, I could be losing money and not even know it. And then that's a terrible situation to find yourself in later.
Right.
So
what was that, a formal partnership that you had solidified recently? Because I wasn't aware of the arc. I knew David was going to some, and was going to collaborate or work for them directly at some level. We actually planned on doing a live stream in the recent past, and it just never really panned out. He's busy. He's got this new opportunity. He's working hard, and I didn't know. This is news to me, so I wasn't aware of the affiliation or the partnership, call it. So congratulations on that. Are you excited? That's a big deal, huh?
Thank you. It's a huge deal. Because it's funny, because like, so Dave started ArcPlate the same month that I started my kind of crypto gig through Boonerings. Literally like August of last year, I believe. Maybe I think I started in July or something, but he started in August. We were right around the same time. So we, naturally like became friends pretty quickly, because we're in the same space. We're both business owners. We're doing the same sort of thing. We're not competitors necessarily. And so, I thought what he was doing was really cool. The first time that I heard him pitch his idea, I think was like when we were on a live stream together. There was like 4 of us or something, and Code Word was in there. And anyway, I just was like, man, that's such a cool idea. Like, I love that. And as time went on, he and I got a little bit closer, and we were doing calls, and he's kind of giving me business ideas. I'm talking about, we're like having a beer on Zoom until 2 or 3 in the morning on a Friday night, just talking about business stuff, because he and I are very similar minded, the way we think, and so it's easy to just talk about business stuff, which is really cool because it's there's not too many people like that, to be honest. It's like people don't want to talk about that kind of stuff. It's just boring. But anyway, we got to the point of like, he was talking about how, he was having these things made in China, right? We have a lot of stuff going on geopolitically in the world where, you have these cargo ships stuck out there right now. You have the possibility that they could invade Taiwan or something. I mean, it's not out of the question, right? If that happens, does the U.S. respond with sanctions like we did with Russia? How does that work? And do we decouple our economies? Like, what's gonna, everything is so uncertain that he's like, I honestly don't feel comfortable having my product made in China, because like, just like that, my whole business could be just shut down because I can't get product. And I was like, yeah, that's a bummer, man. Like, if only there was somebody that could make those for you.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's like, I think you could actually
look no further.
Replace that, my, like, if you bought stainless blanks, like, could you replicate my product? And I was like, yeah, man, like, I'll give it a shot, see what happens. And so sure enough, I order some blanks, and and then I'm like messaging him in real time, like, what about this one? He's like, oh, that looks so cool. Like, what if you did this? And I'm like, okay. And then I edit something, and then I make a new one. And then 10 minutes later, send him another picture. He's like, holy shit, this is so cool. Like, you're doing it in real time. Because in China, it's like, if you want to have a revision made, you're going to wait like a week to even get one revision, right? So he's getting every 15 minutes, another revision and another revision. And then by the end of the day, we had a final product, ready to sell. And so that was really cool. And also too, since I'm making these in-house, like, imagine, one side of this thing, you have arc plate, or this one probably makes more sense. Yeah, arc plate some, and then the back, boom, casino coin, right?
Sure.
you have a Flare community or whoever, right? YouTuber, special edition, whatever. There's 10 of them. Like, I could do that so easily. It's just putting a different file in there. It's the same thing, same setup, same everything, same settings, just a different logo. But it's like, that means something different, and it means something more to a certain audience to have a branded version of it. So
absolutely, I agree 1,000%, because I'm the owner and user of that product. Now, I got it early on, so my version of that product is the China made, which is high quality in the sense that I'm happy that the value that I got out of it. But what you've always done, and once again, it just shows what Boonerings.com is all about, honestly, is taking it to the next step: personalization, customization, that feeling of the, I say mom and pop, that's not really the right, it is and it isn't. I don't want to downplay what you're doing, because it can go to scales that are unfathomable, but you get that sense of that bond between the manufacturer and yourself, the owner and creator of the product, and also the community that you're supporting or representing, right? So you have there's a lot more to it. Like you said, it's much deeper than just even the name. It's like, Tyler did this. Most people, maybe not most, but a lot of people that buy your product probably know who you are. They know of you. They know of your father's business. They know of Boonerings.com. And it's like, who wouldn't support that? You know what I mean? So it's really cool. It's a cool experience.
I think so. And that's just kind of, hey, sorry, I don't know what happened.
You're back. We had a little disruption and connectivity, I guess. No big deal. So I ended with saying, that knowing you and knowing that you created the product and then receiving it,
right?
It's just a cool experience for everybody, I'm sure.
Yeah, and I think that's certainly part of it, and that was kind of a conscious decision I made from the beginning of like, do I want to put my face on this? Like, and I know a lot of people are reluctant to do that in the crypto space because, like if this stuff actually goes and 100 X's or 1,000 X's, and all of a sudden, like anyone that held really any amount of this particular crypto at that early, it's going to be like worth a lot of money, and then you have a target on your back kind of thing. And so, yeah, like I've been thinking about that. I was like, is it even smart for me to do this? And, and I wrestled with it, and I was like, you know what? I think it's worth it. I think it's worth it to do it. I not only am, offering a service, but like I have a message too. And I want to be able to convey that message over time. And, at some point I would like to start a podcast, kind of talking about like entrepreneurship specifically, but like within the blockchain space, and kind of like what the opportunities are here, and just kind of like share my story, and then kind of encourage people to like, do something a little bit risky, just because that's, in my opinion, the new safe. Like being safe, what does that mean in today's world when 401ks are going up in flames and pensions are gone and inflation's rampant? Like, what is safe? The only way to be safe is to generate cash flow, really, in my opinion. Again, my opinion.
I agree with you 1,000%. I mean, once again, a lot of things that we touch on like this, you can't really argue. I mean, who's going to argue against, okay, a lump sum of X amount of dollars today, or X amount of thousands per month in cash flow? I mean, we don't know. All we can do is base our lives off of statistics. In many cases, the average male will live to be, call it 80 years old or something, right? So we have that number in mind when we're pursuing things. Our risk management on how risk adverse are we, or aren't we? I'm 37 years old now. I'm not quite middle-aged, I don't feel, but the numbers would show that, man, I don't care what you think, you're middle-aged, brother, So I'm still always in pursuit daily. I know life is a gamble. Gambling Savant tells the tale. I want to be calculated. I don't need to go through all this again. I'm not a gambler at heart. Just a pure raw gambler. I'm very strategic and specific in what I choose to do, because I want an edge in life. I want an edge in business. I want an edge in investments and career opportunities. And I want the edge. And I know that I can gain the edge with talking with individuals like yourself, with researching, with the trials and tribulations, trial and error, hands-on experience with things. So, here we are, 2022, the year's advancing very quickly. We're already almost through Q2 somehow. And, but, a lot of things are daunting in life. These areas that we have to plow through, and lots of mountains to climb, right? In so many areas of life for so many people right now. Right. That being said, there is opportunity. There is the light at the end of the tunnel. There just is. This is going to change.
Yeah, and you were mentioning finding the edge, right? And kind of like as a gambler, or really someone who is trying to seek opportunity. You gotta find the risk. Where is the most risk, and how can I mitigate that risk? I mean, I think that's really the name of the game. And not only investing, but also as an entrepreneur as well, especially as an entrepreneur. To anybody who's out there that's like starting a business, it's like yes, in order to be like an entrepreneur starting a business, you have to be risk adverse, but you can't just go out and like do the riskiest things for the sake of being risky, because you're just going to screw yourself over big time. So you need to figure out a way of like navigating through risk in such a way that you are mitigating it as much as possible. Like being very conservative with your spending, and also like thinking about your priority list of like, okay, what do I need to do? Do I need to buy inventory now, or should I spend that money on marketing? Or like, do I even need to spend money on marketing? Can I do it organically? What kind of product do I need to focus on? What do I need to focus my time on right now? I mean, there's so many variables. It's really hard. And like 90+% of businesses fail after just a couple of years. And it's really sad. But the reason why is because of risk, not mitigating that risk properly. And so it's so important to stress that, because it applies to investing just as much as, being an entrepreneur. And I think that in order to truly be financially free, like you mentioned, Robert Kiyosaki earlier, like reading, I read his Cash Flow Quadrant book, absolute must read for everybody that's listening to this.
Mm-hmm.
He talks about this. If you want to be truly financially independent, it's ideal to be both in the B quadrant and the I quadrant at the same time, using the cash flow from your business going into your investments. And that right there is how you can just break free from all of the rat race and everything else. And that's what I'm personally striving to do. That's what this is all about. And it's not just for me. It's really for my family. Like, I want to be able to retire my parents one day. I want to be able to support my wife and kids one day. I want to be able to also give back to the community and provide opportunities for other people, and like, that's really what it's all about. And I don't think it's selfish at all. A lot of people think it's selfish.
I agree with you.
A lot of, things, but to me, it's really not about the material.
It's a tool.
It's about the time, taking that back. It's about being able to provide opportunity. And I really do truly believe that deep down, how important it is to be able to be in that position in the future when things could potentially be extremely unstable. Because right now we think things are unstable. I honestly believe that things are not going to get better in the near term. It's just, we're on this path right now. It's going to get really rough. And if you can help people or be in a position to help people, I think that's very honorable. And so and
to elaborate on the risk. So what if it's all about timing?
Yeah, for sure.
If a company took you 17 years to be very profitable, you're probably not going to take a major risk after that length of time of having a well-oiled machine, right?
Yeah.
But if you knew if you could duplicate your efforts in 2 or 3 years, on a business that was successful after, let's say, 30 months. Okay. So you're 2.5 years in this journey, you're successful. You know what? Who really cares if I fail? I'll do it again. Okay. So then you pull the trigger on a much more risky opportunity that would get you to a level of substantial cash flow where it could maintain itself. Or maybe you hired on a massive team that would take on your responsibilities, to whether using your situation or someone else's. All right. Where now you have more free time. Now your time is more valuable than the money that's being generated. In the sense that not taking that risk, you would have been the workhorse at the operation forever, maybe indefinitely. So you take this massive risk of hiring on 5 or 6 individuals. They're on partial salary with bonus and commission, or who knows, right? But you take that leap of faith because you know what? I got there in 2.5 years. If things go to hell in a handbasket, I'll do it again.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll start over, and because I'm an entrepreneur, I'm driven, I have a vision, I'm good at what I do, I'm experienced, so on and so forth. You have all these reasons to give yourself the confidence to make that leap of faith and say, and it could be in a multitude of different areas that you take that risk, right? It could be an investment financially on a new building, or venturing out to other countries to supply your product or your service. So, but it's a lot of it has to do with not even the risk. It's not even really the risk that is the main concern. It's the timeline.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to destroy something that's generating certain X amount of dollars and providing for your life that took you not only blood, sweat, and tears, but a long time to create, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. And I do remember, during my time in startup world, with the startup that I was a part of, we went through an incubator program and we learned a lot from other entrepreneurs. And one of the big things that they talked about was that, the most important factor behind a business is not the idea. It's not the product, it's not the team, it's not the business model, it's the timing. the timing is the most important factor out of everything. Like it's so weird to think about that, because I would never place that as like the number one factor as to whether or not a business is going to be successful. But it is, just statistically speaking, like the timing. And that's why Uber and Airbnb were successful. I think I mentioned this like a long time ago on our last live stream, but it's just important to kind of reiterate, because those two companies, Uber and Airbnb, they came out of the 2008 meltdown. And if they came out in 2006, it would have failed so miserably, because who would have thought about, like, you know, having some stranger come in your car or in your house and pay, you know, it's like, that's just like, why would I do that kind of thing? But when people are hurting for money and they need other opportunities, gig economies just popped out of nowhere. Boom, solution to the problem. And that was timing. And now both of them are multi-billion-dollar companies. Like, they're doing really well. And then they've expanded into other segments and they're doing big things. They've got huge growth potential, I think, in the future. So, you know, that was all timing.
And the risk they took, they knew that with the snap of a finger, the audience and the consumer base that they could reach out to, I would have to believe their risk tolerance was super high.
Yeah.
I don't think it was some conservative plan of action. You know what I mean? I don't think it was conservatively scripted. I think they went for the gold, and they took major risk to capture that consumer base, and they did it.
Yeah.
And like you said, risk. And back to kind of what I said in different terms, it is about the timing.
Yeah.
Whether it's the timing of the environment of this,
right.
the country or the locality of where you're at, or the timing of your personal time that you've invested. Right. So
either way, both cases for sure. Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. And plus too, I mean, what's interesting, I was listening to some Gary Vaynerchuk the other day, and he was talking to, there was somebody that asked him a question about, it's like, oh, well, you know, I'm like 45 years old and like, I've got a wife and kids, but I just, you know, I'm not really happy in my job. And I'm like wondering if it makes sense to like start a business, but it's like, I feel like I'm too old to do it. And he's like, bro, you are so young. You're 45 and you're so young. You have like another however many years, like you can do it. Like, it's never too late, you know. And the way he said it was like a lot better than that. But I was like, man, you know, that's true. Like, we think of like, oh, you know, I turned 30, my life is over. And it's like, no, like, you know, we, especially with the rate that things are moving, it's like, if you've kind of done even a little bit of due diligence into emerging technologies, and you can figure out a way that you can apply your own skill set that you've developed over your lifetime in order to, because again, like, I am not a computer scientist. I'm not over here writing blockchains and like making my own coin or anything. I'm making freaking cards out of titanium and then marketing that to the crypto space. That's what I am good at, right? I don't know anything about coding. I've taken one coding class, and that was a long time ago. And I don't, you know, it's like I could do a little bit, but, you know, I can't meaningfully participate in crypto.
Yes, I got you.
Capacity. But, you know, on the flip side, I do have other skill sets. And it's like, and I really dug deep. I was thinking about, is there any way that I can apply what I know or provide something of value? And this is kind of where all this came out of. It started with Casino Coin, and now, you know, we've kind of done, and now we're partnering with Link2 and Gala Games. I mean, for real, like, both of them put in major orders, and Gala Games put in their second one. So like, it's really, really exciting. And I think that over time, like, that list can grow, and I can point at Gala, I can point at Link2 and be like, look, I made this for them. And they brought these cards to their conferences, and then they were able to tell how many scans they got from the QR codes, and it brought them this much business, and it actually makes sense. It paid off their cards within this amount of time. And there could be a real business case to be had here, and I could really hone that in. And then, you know, I feel like onboarding more businesses in the future is going to be very easy compared to getting in the door of Gala for the first time with really nothing to show other than I made keychains for people in the casino coin space, you know. So like, that being said, I mean, I started not even a year ago. It was August. We're coming up on a year by the end of the summer. And, you know, we went from just making a casino coin keychain and showing a picture of it on Twitter to partnering with companies. And I just think that that's so crazy. I made a keychain for Eleanor Tourette from Fox Business, and she's like, I made her like a little note that, I wrote something in that personal, and she keeps it in her phone case and she carries it around everywhere, and she thinks that it's inspirational. And, and it's just like, she works at Fox Business. She's Charlie Gasparino's producer, and she's been like this public figure that's been helping us in the XRP community and stuff. And like, and I'm like friends with her right now. It's really crazy. I would have never thought that something like that could have happened just less than a year ago. And now I have the belief that it can happen, and it's like manifesting. And I absolutely believe that can replicate into more relationships in the future, and then I can provide actual value to companies. It's just a matter of like really honing in exactly what I'm offering and kind of packaging it, positioning it in such a way that I can clearly communicate what that value is, and then just kind of scale,
Absolutely. And the energy that you bring to the table. Yes, we talk realistically about world affairs and different things going on, which aren't always, bring out optimism, but, but you know what I mean? But your energy, her energy, these communities that are supporting your product, everything's energy, right? Everything in life, us, the earth, everything's just a ball of energy. So you're going to surround yourself typically with people who have a similar frequency, right? Yeah. And have, with that being said, have certain mindsets and goals and ambition and stuff like that. So, she's a great example of, like you said, look at that one relationship, what it does to your psyche.
I know
what it does to, how powerful is that? That's energy. You're synced with, you're synced with that person, with that. You want more relationships like that.
Yes.
It's not because of the product that you sold. It's not because of there's so much more of the intangibles there at play that you want more of that. You want more of that not because of the monetary value or the gain. No. It's because of your effort.
It's the human being, it's the human being there. Yeah. It's that's, being able to connect with them. To me, I just feel like, because that's part of the reason why I wanted to get into this space, is because the people in it are just so like-minded to me. And I just saw that going in, and I was like, man, it'd be cool to be able to kind of like provide something back instead of just consuming all the time. Like, I would love to be able to just put myself out there in my own way, that kind of, where I can provide something, and then people can, like it or hate it, but like it's there, and so I don't know. I just thought that it would be worthwhile to give it a shot, and man, I'm so glad I did, because it's just been, like I said, it just meeting these people has been wonderful. And I've had very few like negative interactions so far. I mean, maybe that's just because I'm not, I don't know, like I'm not out there like putting too many opinions and things out there at the moment, but not that I plan to, but I'm kind of just out there doing my thing, and so far people are responding well to it. So,
well, you have your core business right here, and you may start a podcast like you mentioned, which would be awesome. Yeah. I love talking that talk too. And very interesting to many people, even people that aren't entrepreneurs, people that just have the dream of maybe one day trying something, and they want to get a little insight, and they want to comment on your material and your content. And so, that can be a separate animal. Yeah, you can get a little more opinionated or subjective, I guess, in certain cases. But yeah, with your platform, with, you're not drop shipping your product. It's not like you're just orchestrating these orders and you never have your hands on the material or the product. You have your hands, you're finishing many of these pieces with your hands to achieve a final product.
Right.
And people know that, they appreciate that, they respect that. And that's what, when I got my casino coin medallion, I knew that your hands were on that piece, and it's just cool. We're talking right now, and it's like my friend finished this piece of jewelry for me. And I think that is awesome. And I guarantee you, many of your customers feel the same way. And that's what's going to keep you not only in business, but you're going to thrive in the long run, because I don't think that'll ever change with the type of person that you are at some level anyways.
I don't think, I think that that's a very valuable aspect of the business that I don't plan to change anytime soon. That's for sure. You know, it's like at some point I'm going to have to
Sure.
kind of take my own labor out of the equation just to scale. But like, you know, at the same time, you know, I do enjoy what I'm doing a lot, and I think it's really cool. And the fact that people do find value in that is great. But you know, I think like as time goes on, like I'm thinking about other ways to kind of provide value, and I think that like doing limited runs of things is going to be a much more common practice. Maybe once a month kind of thing. There'll be like a limited run of, you know, say 10, 20, 50 things at various price points. I'll be testing the waters, trying to kind of see what's working, what's not, just gathering some data from like kind of the customer segment, see what people are into, because again, it's hard to know without testing it.
Well, hey, speaking of, Dane Brown in the chat right now says, I showed off my sum card from Tyler today. So he's
so
showing
dope,
off your product.
man.
Hey, shout out to Dane. Welcome to the live stream
so
here,
cool.
man.
That is so cool.
You know, and look at like Amazon arbitrage, right?
Yeah.
Where people are taking these products from Alibaba and all these different sites. And it's kind of similar to what you're saying in the sense that you're going to try out this product. You know, I bought this spatula off Alibaba for $1.20. I'm going to sell it for $7. And you look at the net result of that, and how does it sell? How many units are you selling? You're kind of doing the same thing, except it's different in the sense that there's always, even when the day comes where you take yourself out of that position to hand finish some of these pieces, your vision, your energy, your mindset, your thoughts, your creations are still behind all of this, right? So whether or not you're hands-on, you are still have a big impact on the final product, I believe.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean,
you know,
like I would still be, even if my labor is out of the question, because the thing about it is like it doesn't, you know, sanding on a piece of metal does not take skill. You know what I mean? Like a middle schooler could be taught how to do that and replicate the finish that I want, like within, you know, 30 minutes. Like they could learn it, they could replicate it, it'd be fine. The real value comes from actually the creation process, you know, like coming up with what's next and like, what do people want? What other things can I do? And, you know, so like high level, like I would always kind of, you know, that would be what I would focus my time on exclusively at some point in the future, would be what's next? What are high level business strategies? How can I reach more customers, marketing, that sort of thing? Like I might even have a marketing team, but I would just be coordinating with them. I'd be relaying ideas. And yeah, my time would be much more freed up, and I could kind of think about big picture, long term, where is this going? Right now, it's just a matter of like, I need to pay my bills and survive. And like, I'm going to like make this, and, you know, it's me by myself, and like, that's it. And it'll probably be that way for at least another year. I don't know, maybe not, but that's what I'm planning on. And I'm totally willing to do that. And I love it. But you know, at some point that like I can't scale to past a certain point, obviously. And, you know, if big orders are coming in and say arc plates take off and I'm making tons and tons of those, I don't know. Like,
well, a lot of your marketing and exposure is going to come from arc plate, are going to come from some that relationship there. It's going to come from Gala Games. It's their voice boxes too, right? They're talking with people in the industry. They have relationships. They're showing off their product. People are asking questions, and a lot of the work's going to be done for you at some point, I would imagine. And that's the beauty of the grinding years, or the grinding quarters or months or segments of time where you're on the grinding stone. But that's okay, because you'll come out very polished.
Yeah, and you're building a foundation, you know. Like,
that's exactly right, you know.
Yeah, and in these relationships, I really do believe that this is going to be worth so much in the future, of just building these relationships authentically and taking my time with them, you know, and like being genuine with these people. Like again, with the whole, you know, writing that note. I mean, that note for Eleanor, it didn't take longer than 5 minutes, but I thought about, it's like what we talked about. And I was like, okay, you know, blah, 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 blah. And it meant something, and it was like an encouraging thing. And like, and I just included it with the order, didn't think twice about it. I was like, man, you know, she might value that, whatever. But like, she keeps it every day in her phone, you know what I mean? And like that's real. That's real. Like she thinks about this. And so, you know, and I didn't want to harp too much on that, but it's just like, I think that taking the time to go that extra step or mile with
Personal touch.
yeah, like for real, because you don't get that these days with business. Like
She hasn't placed an order and received a personal touch on a product probably in several years.
Yeah,
Maybe
so
longer. Maybe never.
I know.
You know?
I know. And so I definitely, I want to strive to add that human touch to the product in any way that I can going forward. And like, I mean, even when people are ordering something custom and stuff, it's like, we'll be messaging back and forth, you know, I'm like, all right, here's my design so far. What do you think? Should I tweak this a little bit, whatever? And they're like, oh yeah, that looks good. But if you can, I would like to see it like this. It's like, oh, no problem, blah, blah, blah. You know? And so we're going back and forth, and then by the end of it, it's like they have something that they actually really like. They're not just saying that they like it. They really do like it, you know, and they're proud of it. They take it out of their wallet, and it's like, boom, you know, this is my thing. And it's like, look at what I got. And then that helps the brand, that helps them. And, you know, it's a better experience, you know, and
You're allowing for that too. If you go to a generic, create your own, this, that, the other online, you never get the customer service, the one-on-one, the comfort level, if there's even access to it, to correspond with somebody. It's non-existent. So the fact that you and I can sit here and you can put my creations to a real life tangible product, it's a unique experience. And it's something, it's not even about the product at some level. It's about when you look back on the piece that you received, yes, it's gorgeous. It's exactly what you wanted, but the thrill of all that really came in the journey of getting there. And that is something that you've allowed for, that is very unique and rare.
I really do think so. And you know, I also, like, on this new website that I'm launching, it's going to be, again, typeproject.xyz. So that's going to be the website. And like right now it's just a landing page where it's like, you know, coming soon, put your email in here if you want to get updates or whatever. But the website is going to have like a really nice like chat feature to where like you can easily reach me through the website and ask questions in real time, but it'll also have a little bit of like intelligence to it. So it's like, where's my order? It'll like pull up the tracking number and like get you where it is in the process and things like that. So that's, you know, there's going to be more things like that I can add to it later. Like if I'm asked the same kind of question over and over again, I can type out a response for it, and it'll be able to like
Q&A of sorts,
respond to people fairly intelligently. And then if they still need me, they can, you know, like push the button or whatever, and then I'll get the message, and then I can like interact with them. But like, it's going to be there at the bottom right corner of the site at all times. It's not like Facebook Messenger. It's like actually integrated into the website. And then if you leave the website and I hadn't answered yet, when I do answer, you'll get an email for it. So like you can, you know, we can correspond through email and stuff as well. So I think that's going to be a really cool feature for people. And like, that's going to be where I can, you know, go back and forth with design things. I can send pictures through it and everything, just like normal chat window and stuff. So I do think that's going to be pretty valuable for people. But also too, I just pulled this up on my phone. I want to show you. So this is a business card that I made for Jason Brink from Gala Games. And so I included it with his order, but you can kind of see the Gala logo like in the QR code.
Absolutely, you can. Yeah. It's showing up really clear. That's awesome.
And then
that is so cool.
The logo in the bottom there, and then in the background there's like the Gala logos, but as a watermark. So you kind of see them.
Yes.
Spotted throughout.
It's actually showing through really nicely. Yeah, you can definitely see it.
And then that's the back. So it's just, there's no text or anything. It's just like, you know, like a cool little pattern with the logo. So
Very, very cool.
So that's just an example. And, I wanted to make him one, and the QR just goes to his Twitter page, so it's not like it's his wallet or anything. But, you could have a payment address there. But what's really cool about this is that, I can make QR codes now that can lead to a landing page that you can create. So you would have the ability to create your own, and then and so you could put your own information on there. You could have a profile picture, you can have your name, your phone number, whatever information you want to share as a contact. And you could use this as a real business card. So someone scans it and then it pulls up that landing page, and then you got your social media, you got everything you want to have on there. You can even have your address or whatever. And then with a tap, they could save that contact into their contacts in their phone. So
yeah, so it becomes like a virtual business card.
The virtual business card. So I think that this is even more useful than the cards that I was doing before, where
more utility.
Yes, more utility. So you could have that on one side, and you can put a ton of information. What's even better is you can update that later, and the QR code doesn't change. So you can actually, the landing page information will adjust, but this QR code is the same. And then on the back, you could have, your Sun Wallet address or whatever you want, or you could go to your website, your Twitter, whatever. So I think that these are going to be big, and I'm just really excited for them. And I want to be able to design, a bunch of different options for people to kind of have different things available. And then, just kind of see where things go from there. But
you've stayed on the trail with that Sum card, the QR code platform and concept, and now you're offering it in stainless steel, which, I can see the value in both, to be honest. Both very high grade materials. If you want to go the cost effective route, you have the stainless option, which who doesn't love stainless steel? I mean, a lot of things are created out of that material. You got lots of longevity and durability, as we all know. And then you have the titanium, which just that alone, just knowing that you own something that's made out of that material, it's high grade, it's premium material. You get what you pay for, in the sense that that's a more desirable material in some aspects, but in this case, you just might sell a large percentage of the stainless because it's cost effective. It's a business card. When I buy business cards online, I'm not one to spend the highest dollar amount for the thick stock. I kind of just want to get my name out there for what I offer, and mission complete. Now, I can see the personalization aspect going to a level that you'd want to have the titanium on this one, maybe with color combinations. So there's different reasons why you would get one or the other, but now you do offer the option for the more, whether you want to call it economy, value, more entry level into that line of showing off what you do for a living, basically.
Exactly. And what's also pretty cool about the cards is that you can really you can show it to somebody in the middle of a conversation without interrupting the conversation. They scan it with their phone, and then boom, they have the landing page, and then they put the phone away and you keep the conversation going. It's not like, you're fumbling around trying to put the card in your wallet and you make a mental note. I need to remember that I got this guy's card, and then I'm going to have to remember, I don't know. It's just, to me, it's you have it bookmarked in your phone, you come back to it later. Same thing with if this was with Link 2, for example, say I make Link 2 business cards, and not only are they customized like this, but there's even parts of it that are cut out. So you have the logo cut out, you might have some hexagons kind of cut out. It looks super cool. And then the engraving on top of that, you have a QR code that goes to a specialized landing page that's only meant for people that you meet in person. So you get some kind of special deal, maybe the first 3 months, no fees to use the platform or whatever. And then you can actually track how many people scan the code, how many people actually went through the process and onboarded, and what that translated to in sales. You could track it. So
excellent.
There's a real business case for this. And it's easy for people. And again, you're not interrupting that conversation. They scan it, they get the landing page up. They're like, okay, cool, I have this for later. Boom, put the phone in the pocket, continue the conversation, close it out. They walk away. Super easy. Again, you're not like you could give away the business card, but a lot of people, it's like they have 50 business cards in their wallet after they go through a conference. And then it's like, which one was them? Like, I forget who I talked to, and like, I don't even remember this company. And, you're going to lose people in that kind of,
Absolutely.
yeah. So if you had something like that, I just feel like they'd convert a lot better, and people would remember the card. I mean, they're like, oh, that's a cool, like, metal card you got there with like all the engraving and it's cut out and stuff. Like, that's pretty high end. Like, these guys mean business, you know what I mean? And it's like something as simple as that. They're not going to say that out loud, but it's just like the impression of like, wow, these guys are like the real deal. I haven't seen anything like that before. And maybe I'm just like completely, like I'm
No,
but
you are correct, because even if you took the titanium route and you spent a higher premium for that, it's the everlasting business card. And you invest in it one time, you invest in the stainless steel one time, you're buying a box of business cards, you're getting a personal customized piece of there's nothing like it. I don't know of a product like that. I really don't. And so you also have your Sum wallet tied into it. You have some other personalization features that you can add to it. And so talk about a good investment. I mean, you can reach millions of people with one card, potentially.
You could, exactly. And what's even kind of crazier about it is the fact that that card will literally outlive you. You know what I mean? Like, that's
right.
So weird to think about, but it's like, once it's engraved, I mean, it's like, it's done, like
right.
It is the way it is now. And like, you will have that card for literally the rest of your life.
And so knowing this, Tyler, does that change your mindset on kind of like, going back to the Uber aspect of, or any business like that, where this is the window to capture the masses with that concept? I mean, I'm not asking even for an answer unless you want to elaborate, but what do you do? Like,
yeah,
the opportunity is here. The iron is hot. Do you strike? Or here's the risk management. Do you take the risk to do something to levels that maybe you're not comfortable with, to reach the businessmen all over the globe that would love to have that? They would love it.
You know what?
What do you do?
It's a great question, because I do think that the potential here is so big, and it's also the coolest part about it is that it does not have to be crypto related.
Exactly.
So that is, I think, a hedge for my business and myself, to be able to address markets that are not directly related to what I initially thought the business would be centered around. And I'm not saying that I'm like shying away from crypto, because I'm absolutely, like, that's a huge part of this business. But I don't want to limit myself, if that makes sense. So what I think would actually be very, effective with this would be to actually do paid marketing on LinkedIn, and reach certain titles of people, like marketing director of XYZ company, whatever. And, figure out what those titles are that, would make that kind of decision for a company, and then be like, hey, I make these cards. I, have done it for this company, this company, this company. These were the results of their investment. I think that, here's kind of a mock-up of like what I've done, what I could do for you. I could, work with you on design, whatever, but this is kind of a rough idea. If your employees had this, they brought that to, conferences, like, you could probably convert more clients, or whatever, you know what I mean? And so I don't know. I think doing both organic and paid marketing on LinkedIn, the LinkedIn paid marketing really could just be like a video, of like people at a conference pulling it out of their wallet, someone scanning it, goes to a landing page of the company, whatever. But you see some cool like shots of the card, just kind of make it a little bit like, it doesn't have to be super high production, but it can be pretty good. I have some friends who are like really good at videography and stuff, and might be able to get some good shots. I don't know. But that's the idea, being able to market it to professionals on LinkedIn that have the need and or desire even and the capital to just throw it. Because again, this is not, this is going to be a $29 piece, one side engraving, stainless steel. It's going to start at 29. If you get the titanium double-sided engraving, that's 55. So even that's not like breaking the bank. I was selling the cards for like over $100 before, and I still sold like 10 of them or something. But now I think that this is going to be much more approachable. And, I've got the process down a lot better for these now. So I'm able to be much more efficient with it. And so, yeah, I think that I really believe that this product can be like almost a centerpiece of the business, along with the art plates and then kind of everything. And then maybe even like the bottle opener cards as well. And
I have a concept for you.
Oh yeah.
A big news break for Gambling Savant is that there's a very good chance I'm moving to Las Vegas.
Oh man. Okay.
So do you want to hear this?
Yeah.
How about, and you don't have to take me up on it. Okay. How about we get a kiosk set up and I can help financially if necessary.
Okay.
40 million people visit Las Vegas each year. Okay. And a large majority of that are businessmen and women that go to conferences.
Yeah.
We set up a kiosk or two on the strip at a major destination. And while they're in a conference, they come place their order and you sell tens of thousands of personalized cards each year. I would guarantee it.
That would be incredible, man.
And we out that first, we get a individual or two. One is working the computer to set up the design. We have limited options, nothing crazy. You have one of 3 or 4 or 5 choices.
Yeah.
You have the laser right there. You have somebody that's savvy with the computer. They type in the information. They create a QR code. Hey, I'll be back in an hour. I've got a conference right now. I'll pick my card up and I'll be back in about 3 hours. You have everything organized. You have all the material there. 40 million people a year visit the strip. And I would guarantee you that would sell immediately.
Yeah.
So it's a concept.
That's an idea, man.
And you can reach people all over the globe. You have people from Hong Kong and Switzerland and Europe and, of course, right? A lot of international travel, a lot of big business. And then what happens is they go back to China, they go back to Europe, they go back to wherever. Yeah. Well, where'd you get that? Oh, Boonerings.com. Here, place an order. Then you have it delivered overseas and you have kiosk.
That's a great idea.
Now you're taking your hands off. You hire people. It's like the keys. If you need a key for your house, you go to Walmart and you hit the little kiosk, you ship your key in there and it zips it off. And you're like, oh, I've got 2 of the same key in 3 minutes. Now I've got my own personal, I've got my website on there. I've got my business card on there. I've got my personal information. I went to a conference in Boonerings.com, zipped out this titanium card out of thin air.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a cool concept, man.
So I'll be there likely late summer. I'm very likely selling and heading there with the family. That's where things are going to turn drastically for my life and my opportunities and my vision on my career of sorts and other opportunity. I see it more fit for longevity as compared to Colorado. I'm somewhat limited here in many ways, and I'm going to make the leap of faith, I believe. But there's an opportunity for both you and I. I could help orchestrate. And if you want to do it on your own and don't involve me, it's an idea. I think it's a valid concept, but I could certainly go down that trail with you and I would be all in on it. No pun intended.
Yeah, that would be so cool, and I would love that.
Consider that. And like I said, I would be in position to help facilitate some of that. And whether it's meeting with people on the investment side to get the equipment, to find people for hirees that would be able to run the business of sorts or the kiosk. I could be in charge. So let's just think about it. We don't need to go down the trail yet. If you want to pursue something like that, give it some thought. Your exposure in one location is unlike any other place in the world, probably.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, there's other places like Chicago, Atlanta, et cetera. But I think Las Vegas is probably, like you said, I mean, one of the hubs for like conferences.
It's insane. And you hit the international travel, you hit the local market, no shipping. They get their hands on it within hours.
Yeah, that's true.
You're not dealing with the logistics of anything.
No.
It's like, hey, I didn't have a card an hour ago and now I do.
Yeah.
And now people, and now my potential customers are scanning my card in real time an hour later.
Yep. Because like genuinely, shipping and stuff, especially going forward, is one of those things that could absolutely lose a sale. Because it can be so expensive, and then it takes forever to get there. A lot of times things get lost. I mean, you deal with all that kind of stuff. You deal with returns, and and now, I mean, if that was out of the equation, I mean, man, that would solve a lot of issues for sure. So
so it's a possibility. You'd have to look into talking with different properties to see what something like that looks like as far as renting space. Maybe you do it randomly. Maybe it's not a permanent thing. Maybe you hit conferences throughout the year. Maybe I would say you'd want a permanent position somewhere, based on my experience of being there a lot, with the flow of people and business, people that don't even own a business might want that.
Yeah.
They work for such and such company, and hey, here, this is who I am. Right. Yeah. So anyways.
Well, I mean, it's great for like you go to a job fair, right?
Yeah.
And everyone else has their resumes, and you could have your resume in a QR code, a PDF. Literally,
there you go.
A QR code could open a PDF, and like that alone would be memorable. It's like, oh yeah, it's on my phone. It's like it's in a separate location than the pile.
Yes.
That alone could be a different. You know what I mean? It's like
I just spilled my coffee all over 77 cards, but I still have Tyler's.
I still have that on my phone. Yeah, it's got. It's like, okay, well, this guy. It's like, let me read that resume again. Oh yeah, he's pretty qualified.
So it's just like it's like we've known each other for quite a while now, relatively speaking.
Yeah.
With this crypto world and these projects and that, I mean, it's like ArcPlate. Things develop, things change, things that could have not happened just as easy as it did almost.
Yeah.
It happened because one day the conversation sparked and you had something. It's a concept. It's something to dwell on. It's definitely something to put pen to paper on. I'd be interested myself to know what a startup cost that would be with the equipment, with not how cheap, I don't want to use that term, but how friendly could the entry point be to start? And then do you just expand out? I mean, there's Starbucks on every corner because people want coffee. So at some level, is it one station? Is it 5? Is it 12? Do you hit LA? Do you hit Chicago? This concept could get out of control.
I think so. I want to be able to have.
So anyways.
No, yeah, I think it's a great idea. And at some point, what I want to do, and I really think this would add so much value to the cards, is on the website itself to have a design studio that people can kind of like Canva or like an Inkscape or something, but like in the browser. And then, there'd be like the templates that people could like pull up and they could like, edit them, or they could kind of, get a starting point, but they could also create something from scratch. You got the line Bezier pen tools. You got like you could get a QR code generator on board, because right now I'm using a service that I'm actually paying for to generate these QR codes, to be able to customize them and all that kind of stuff. I would love to be able to replicate that completely in-house, and then be able to offer a service to people where, like, on my server, which would have like that information, and then they could, update it and everything, like they would be, I don't know, because right now for me, it's like a paid subscription, like yearly, like, and I'm paying, fairly substantial amount just to be able to like have this ability. Right. And, it's like, if I could, make that completely in-house and kind of control that aspect of the business, that'd be a lot better, because then the customer could actually create their own QR code, customize it the way they want aesthetically, change the look of it, put their little logo in the middle or emblem or whatever, make it completely their own. And then they could do that all without me having to like do it for them.
Sure.
So anyway, And then again, it's like if it was something like a dynamic QR code where it leads to a landing page, it would be like a landing page that would be a subdomain of tieproject.xyz, and it would have whatever on it and stuff. I don't know. I mean, that might not work. Like I'd have to think through that, but I mean, spitballing, like I feel like it would be better to have that in-house capability.
I totally agree.
Allowing for people to be able to do whatever they want. Because right now it's like I'm kind of directing people to use this website, but they have to like set up an account. It's like it's not the best solution. But it's like I could do it from my end if they gave me the information. It's like I could kind of like do it for them and kind of send them the proof. It's like, is this what you're looking for? Yes, no, and go back and forth. It's not ideal, but like it'll work for now.
But what if you knew you had, thousands of orders potentially waiting to be filled, and now it makes all those decisions pretty easy, right? Where, let's do that. Let's jump the gun on that opportunity to have that application, to have that advancement in the flow of the process and the access or whatever, the in-house capabilities, right? So then those decisions become simple.
I know.
Man,
because it offers a better service to the customer, right? They get exactly what they want. They can spend however long designing it. They could even upload like an SVG file that they made in a software they're comfortable with. They could pull it in and then, size it properly or whatever. And then it's like done. And then they hit submit. And then it's like, are you sure this is the, like it could come up with like a rendered proof of like, this is what your card's going to look like. You can see it in AR on the table. You can be like, okay, that's what it looks like. Cool. I think that's sized properly and everything. They confirm, they hit submit. And then I have a file that I could literally just push a button and then boom, the laser's done. I get that card done in like 30 minutes. It's out the door. They get it really quick. It is super custom. It's like, it's a win for everybody.
Yeah.
I really think that but I have no idea how to like make an application like that. I'd have to pay somebody to do it. But
you could talk with an engineer. I think it'd be relatively simple.
Yeah.
I don't think it would cost that much anyways. I really don't, because there was a point in time where a buddy and myself looked into one of our friends. Actually, he lived in Boulder, Colorado. He's an engineer, and we were going to try to get an app designed like that for a completely different industry. But I think it was going to cost $5,000, and it was pretty detailed. I mean, it wasn't what you're looking to do, just based on what it just wasn't like material or like product, right? So it was a little more detailed. It wouldn't cost that much. I don't think you'd have to shop it. But I mean, anyways, to wrap things up, Boonerings.com is chugging right along. Lots of advancements, lots of changes coming up, lots of changes that have happened in the recent past, actually, with ArcPlate, with Gala Games, with these other relationships that you're really realizing current day that are in large part the backbone of kind of moving forward and in your future with similar types of clientele and your vision on the business. And you're working with some payment processors right now. You've had some struggles there, but you're realizing some success too, because you weeded out. You kind of, it's not a bad thing because you're weeding out. You don't have to think about it anymore.
Yeah.
Who the individuals or the entities who won't do business with you for whatever reason just simply aren't options anymore. And that's okay. Now you'll find out who you're going to conduct business with, who you're going to partner with, and those options will not only become larger in the future, they'll also become more. Competition will make it more valuable for you too. Better options, better pricing, better this, that, the other. So you're only going to advance and improve your situation there, it sounds like. So I bring up the fact that Gambling Savant and family are moving to Las Vegas at a very high percentile. Likely going to be the case, I would say August, September. We would arrive there probably August. It's going to be a massive change for my life, for my children, for my wife, and for what I have in store career-wise, and some opportunities and some entrepreneurship that I'm delving into. And we touch on the potential for the concept of having these kiosks to pump out in masses Tyler Boone's product with these business cards that are customized with QR codes for websites, for virtual business cards, for anything that you want, whether you're a business owner or not. I would imagine we'll have another conversation, a follow-up conversation on this.
Yeah.
I think it's not because I came up with it, believe me. It just struck me while we're sitting here. I'm like, wait, 40 million people a year in Las Vegas, many of them business owners or entrepreneurs, many of them content creators, many of them this, that, the other. A kiosk that can run itself in the sense that you have a laser on site, you have the computer program to customize what they want, pop out a QR code, stainless steel, titanium material, whatever it may be, and they go home to where they reside with a brand new Boonerings.com card with all of their personal information. And what an opportunity. Major exposure. The sales numbers could be such that you would never imagine, I think, in one location.
That would be all right, man.
So I'm kind of talking up the idea. You'll of course be the mind behind all this. Give us some thought.
Yeah, man,
I think it's got some validity. I'll be there. I could help you out. And like I said, no, if I'm not involved, no hard feelings, but I would talk to somebody, maybe pick your dad's brain about that and see what his thoughts are and just see what validity comes from that concept. I think it's an incredible opportunity.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think like basically meeting your customers where they are is always a great business model. You know, just being able to offer them something of high value that's personalized in real time is like, you can't get better than that. I mean, that's the exact way that you would want to get these cards out there, is to be able to do something like you want to be able to influence people to impulsively buy something. And like, what better way to do that than to say, like, you can have your own custom card made today that will outlive you and have all of your information on it that you can share instantly to anyone that has a phone. Like that's a really big deal. And I think a lot of executives would be like, oh, $29, $30. Like, yes, like
you have a 30-second little clip, commercial, call it, on a TV screen. 30 seconds. You want to keep their attention real hot and heavy. You show the engraving, you show the customization, you show the final product. And then you have 5, 6, 10 different examples laid out that are already done. Yeah. You say, hey, take your phone out, sir. Hey, Tom, nice to meet you. Go ahead and scan this QR. And this is going to be a live example of what yours can look like. He scans it. It pops up on a little screen above the card.
You got the laser going in the background the whole time.
You got the laser going in the back, and it shows exactly what a example of what that particular card layout was, that format. And you have all these different formats, and it's like, hey, why don't you choose number 3? Try number 3. I kind of know what you like. Try number 3 and scan that one and see what you think. Yep, I want number 3. Yeah. Here's my personal information. The guy or gal pops in their personal information, zips off the QR code, the laser hits it, and it's over.
Yeah, man. And ultimately too, it's like, if I was to have the QR code, like landing pages, like on my like servers and stuff, or however that would work, I need to figure that out. You know, it's like the person that is like going in there, they would have to create an account through the website in order to have access to their QR codes to edit, right? So then like they have an account on my site, which then I can use to like, I mean, if they opt into marketing, of course.
Yes.
It's like, boom. Oh, by the way, we're doing this. You might be interested in this too, or upsell this here, whatever.
A monthly mailer through email.
Yes.
Promotions, discount codes, new arrivals, right?
Yeah.
I mean, or hey, any customized piece over X amount of dollars, you get 25% off this month or whatever, right? So where they don't have to buy something that you already have. It's like, hey, go create something for yourself.
Yeah, shit.
And now you have someone in-house at the main headquarter doing customized work at the main shop with all the heavy equipment.
Yep.
And
and then also too, upsell this bad boy right here, keychain with the QR code on it.
That could go with the card. You could have a promo. Hey, we're doing you do a promo with the medallion QR in with it. Yeah, and maybe if they buy or if they go titanium, you only do it on the titanium cards.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah, you get
stainless is what it is.
Yep.
Titanium, you throw in the medallion.
Man,
it's like, dude.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to have.
Hey, it's like, hey, here.
Yeah.
Just Yeah. So what a beautiful deal. Hey, Dirk Sharp, he says I would do other kinds of cards too, if possible, birthday cards, bachelorette cards, etc. In Vegas, especially. Dude, see, I'm telling you, Dirk, I'm happy that we're getting some feedback in Vegas. He says in Vegas, especially, this is serious opportunity. I think I really do.
I think so, dude. I mean, even awards like plaques or something, like you won this thing, and then the QR code goes to like a photo album of the event that you like were at, or
absolutely,
or some, I don't know, like you like there could be, I mean, again, for companies, like it could be an onboarding portal that could be tracked. That's huge. I mean, just like the data analytics that a company, like the insights that they could gain from like their in-person events, like, oh, so-and-so's card, like David's card over here, he's scanned he got 47 scans at the conference, and then, Joe got 4. It's like, what's going on here? You know what I mean? Like, and so, and you can tell if they're unique scans or if they're different, whatever, like where they came from or where they're going. And
like you said, with the resume aspect, it wouldn't even have to be that. It could just be like a line, like bullet points of credentials. Graduated from such and such. Got my master's in this, and you could have just a few low line items. Doesn't have to be some lengthy resume. You could just you can do it however you want.
Or that's just link to your LinkedIn page.
There you go.
That you update that in real time, and so that code always stays the same. There's also another option here. So like this one side leads to like a dynamic landing page. So it's like a less dense QR code. This one here is much denser.
Okay.
Right? This is static. So this you can't edit. But this, what happens when you scan this is that it pulls up on your phone, like, add Tyler Boone to your contacts. And then you hit it, and then boom, you're in their contacts immediately. So it's not a landing page on a website. It is like an actual direct to your phone. Like you import a contact. That's like that's what this is.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I've found that this particular size here is too small for a phone to read it because it's just so dense. So if I was to do a static code like this that actually has the information embedded in the code itself, I would have to make it much bigger probably. So I don't know if it'd be practical. It might take up the whole freaking width of the card. I don't know, but
right.
It could be possible to do. And some people would prefer that. I don't know, because it's just easier. It's like literally it opens up, boom, you're in their phone. And then it's like their phone. It's not a website that's pulled up on Safari that they're going to like lose in all their tabs. Like,
well, that would be really nice for people who work in the same building. I mean, there's some corporations that have hundreds of employees, right? Yeah. So as instead of scanning the business in a more formal business setting, it's kind of like you see them in the office or running down the hallway. Hey, you're new. Hey, Mike, how you doing? Nice to meet you. Hey, Mary, here, real quick, get your phone out real quick. Scan this. Okay. I'm in your phone. Call me. Exactly. Call me tomorrow.
Text me and whatever, Yeah.
It's less formal. It's more inviting and casual.
Yeah. And what's even better is like you put the information on there that you want to share. It's like Tyler Boone and then the company, Ty Project. It's like, oh, like that's where they're from. Okay. You put your phone number, your email or whatever. You could even put your address if you want to, but like and that's what's going to show up in the contact card. And so it's like, you have the business in there and then that could really be, it's like, that's where I met them. I remember now. And it's like, and it's in their phone. So they could just pull it up and like search your name and then, your phone number is easy to reach. So Yeah, I see a lot of potential with these cards because there's a lot of utility that can be tapped into, and it's just a matter of conveying that to people, like communicating it effectively without overwhelming them. I think that's kind of like the hardest part. Is like, because we were talking about this for 30 minutes now, and I think people get it at this point. But can you do it 30 seconds convincingly that this is all that it can do, and here's all the different things, and without making it seem like, oh, it's good. Well, that's just going to take too much time to figure out. Like, I don't know, it's not worth it. Like,
Well,
that's the question. You know what I mean?
I do. I think the answer is yes, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because it's something that it also makes them look state of the art as a professional. There's a certain look about that. That's why certain businessmen and women like to drive Teslas.
Yeah.
It gives them that edge of, hey, I'm this person, I'm that person, and it gives them a different label, a different level of status, whether people like it or not. It just does.
Right.
It does something to the psyche.
Yeah,
right?
for sure. I mean, I think it definitely would set an impression. It's like, oh, well, that's different, like mental note.
It's very professional. And the business cards, I don't know how many business cards I've gotten over the years where I've had to, some that I've kept, I've never used before. And the ones that I've needed, I never was able to track down after the initial meet and greet.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I find business cards laying around that people that no offense to them, I just simply will never call the number. You know what I mean?
Right.
And then people's business card that I'm looking to call them the following day to purchase their service or product. I can't find it. So it's like,
yeah,
but
exactly. So I think this would be a lot. And what's really cool about this is that at first, when I was making cards before, I was making them out of the same stock that I was making the keychains out of. So they were like 60 thousandths of an inch thick, which, a typical card is like 30 to 35. So it's like half of that almost. So they were definitely like thicker. But, I kind of play that off as like, well, they're more premium. They're a little bit more hefty. They're metal. And so it's like people want that feel. But now I've found that I can do 40 thousandths thickness. So it's like, 2/3 of the thickness. And so it's much more similar to a credit card. So it's like, this is a real credit card. And then this is like the titanium. So you see, it's like identical.
Oh yeah.
Like it looks and feels like a credit card. And the titanium one is so light that it's practically the same weight it feels like as the plastic. It's really wild. Stainless feels heavier than a plastic card. You definitely feel the weight to it. And some people like that. It's like, well, it's more premium. It's actually also a little bit thicker. The stainless, it's like 45 or 50, 48, I think, whereas titanium is flat 40. So you get not only the extra density, but it's also a little bit thicker. So you definitely feel the difference between the two.
Right.
So if the weight was a thing for you, that you wanted it to be lighter and you wanted it to be more premium, you pay the extra $10, you get the titanium.
Very nice.
So that's kind of where it's at now. And,
Yeah.
This literally, I don't feel it in my wallet. I keep it in there all the time now. And before I had like the heavy duty one, and this is substantially lighter, and it feels like I just have credit cards in there. So,
well,
yeah, I think people are going to like these a lot.
The online exposure has obviously been in our lifetimes and many people's lifetimes, the most exposure, the most eye-opening marketing tool ever. Right. I mean, it's unbelievable. You can reach the entire planet. Right. But the second best is for people to come to you. All right. I mean, like, without you having to find the customer, you're not even marketing. I mean, you don't even have to market. You set up a stationary place of business that is low overhead. And your clientele just shows up. Right. You're not really doing much to catch their attention.
Yeah, it's like
a 30-second clip.
Yeah, everything would be, that clip would be like the main kind of like advertising expense you put into to make it up front. But then after that, it just runs itself, and like it's pretty much.
You get the laser rolling all day. And I don't think there'd be a shortage of orders. I really don't. And what the numbers become,
Yeah.
I don't know that the scale, I don't know that it takes long to scale to optimal output. Yeah, you might add stations throughout a given city or area of a country, but any given kiosk, I call it, you could hit record numbers almost immediately because it's something that people are just going to want. It's not like word of mouth is going to be so great. It's going to be an impulse buy. They're on a business vacation. They want to do everything they can to be cutting edge. They want to do everything they can to present themselves at the highest level possible. That is a tool. That's a marketing tool for themselves that they're just going to buy it. That's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
It's just a no-brainer. The stainless steel card for what, $30?
Yeah.
People, they're selling all day long. Yeah. I honestly think it would be tough to keep up with the orders. I believe that.
Yeah. What's cool about it is like the laser system is modular. So you can buy another unit and then it works the same as the first one. You buy a third one, you buy a fourth one, fifth one, have 20 of them. Fuck, it doesn't matter. You know, you have the same input output. Like, you know, you plug it into the wall. It's not like it needs like a 220 volt, like it's like you plug it into a regular socket. It's not very power intensive. I mean, that's like pretty scalable, honestly.
Well, and people are people. I don't like the idea just because I like the idea. I like the idea because it's realistic.
Yeah, that's
I'm not forcing myself to think that your product is a great concept. I don't have to force myself to think that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's very natural. Hey, how can I show somebody who I am? And a little bit, the business card thing, no one ever even looks at them.
Right.
If someone scans a QR code, they're more apt to look at the details of who you're working with, who you're dealing with. Who is this guy or gal, right? Who are they? They just sent me a QR. Yeah. Okay. Here we go.
Yeah.
Because they know that every business card reads the same.
Yeah,
every traditional business card reads almost identical. Do you really care what the person's title says? Do you really care about that? No.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're COO, CEO, assistant, this, who cares? I don't really care what your title is, but I'd like to know who you are.
Yeah.
I'd like to know a little bit more and a few bullet points. Oh, but the guy, he graduated from Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
That's kick ass. I did too.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You know
exactly.
what I mean? I don't care that he's COO. Who cares?
Yeah.
So interesting, man. Wow.
And what's really cool too is like so on my Twitter right now, on both the business Twitter and my personal Twitter, the link that's in my description for like the website is the same link that will be on the back of these business cards that come with every order, which is to like link to a basically like a tree of, like all the different social media platforms that the business is on, right? So Twitter and Facebook and Pinterest and Instagram and whatever, and then the website itself. But it's really cool because the way that it loads, it has the logo kind of pop up like and expand out while it's loading. You get this kind of cool effect, and then you got the picture at the top, and you got all the stuff listed. It's really professional looking, and I love it. I think it's a really great concept, and that is the same thing that somebody could have on their card. Like they could offer that to somebody else, and it could be for their personal, like it doesn't have to be for their business, but it could be for their business. It could have their business on one side, personal contact on the other side, easy, done. And so, but the personal side, it's like, it pops up, it's got your face profile picture. So you remember, oh, that was that person.
Okay. Right? Yeah.
You got your profile picture, you got your name, you got your title, and then you got, social media links, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, boom, right there. They're in their little bubbles with the icons, so you know what they are.
Sure.
But it's not like some link that looks ugly. It's like just a simple little icon, and then you got your phone number, your email, and then it'll pop up with like little buttons where it's like you click one button, you could call them. You click one button, you can email. It'll open your email app, and it'll autofill their email into the thing. So it's like super nice to use. And so like, that's like through this service that I'm using right now to generate these QR codes. That's like the experience that you get. It runs on their server. So like you can go in and update information and it'll change your, like I said, your QR code stays the same, but you can change your address. You can change, you might move, you might change your phone number, whatever. You don't have to throw your card away and get a new one.
How much value is there in, it usually takes time, right? You meet someone, hey, I'm CEO of such and such, right? Hey, nice to meet you. How you doing, John? Pleasure. Okay. It takes a while to have a lasting relationship with people and to find out who are they? Who is John? Okay. I have to assume he's respectable because he's CEO, right? But
Yeah,
I don't know who this guy is. I don't know his background. I don't know any of his other credentials in life, whether it's business related or not. He might have been a Division I baseball player. That's awesome. That's cool. That's good to know. In my opinion, I don't care that he's really good at conducting this or that service or business. It almost becomes irrelevant because I know he's professional. I know the guy's professional at what he does, right? I want to know more though. And I don't want it to take 3 months or 6 months to know who John is. Yeah. John was a Division I baseball player. He graduated from Georgia Tech. He, whatever, right?
Participated in this particular.
So it jumpstarts that relationship and gives you even more confidence to move forward with relationships, with conducting business, with contracts, with whatever it may be. And it's like they can get that. It's not just Joe Schmo with this title.
It saves time, right? And time is money. It's important. You want to expedite the process. You want to make things more efficient. I mean, if you're anything like me out there, it's like I would love to be able to streamline kind of every aspect. And that this is a great way to do it. It's like you get a really cool, unique, memorable experience by scanning the QR code, going to some landing page, and it's like, oh, you get a good idea of who I am, what I'm about. I put the information on there that I think is relevant. And like people appreciate that. It's like, wow, this was like way easier than what I was used to. But here's another idea too. It's like, what if on the back of the card there could be like a default design that could be opted into if they want to. That's just a code to scan that goes to the product page on the website of the card itself as an affiliate link, and they get a discount on the card by getting that option because they're helping me out.
Yeah. You could tie in so many things to that.
Yeah.
And that's fun because you could, you, me, we, whoever could find somebody that's super creative like that. Not that we couldn't do it, but there's literally an individual out there that could get outrageously creative with this concept. I mean, you could link that QR to one YouTube video. Somebody could start a YouTube channel with one video saying, hey, I'm so-and-so. This is who I am. This is what I do for a living. This is my background. That could be their card. Yeah. That could be their presentation to potential customers, and it's over. How much better do you feel about that than someone handing you a card with the guy's owner operator of whatever?
Yes.
I'm not impressed. I mean, how many millions of those have been passed around, right?
Yeah.
And it means nothing. It just means nothing. It's not impactful. You don't remember it.
Nope.
It doesn't save your mind doesn't save any space for that card.
Yeah, man.
It throws it right out the window.
Especially too, you get the bottle opener version.
Yeah.
I mean, you can still put QR codes on it that do the same thing, but you can open beer with it, and then boom, it's like a conversation starter right there. And then it's like, what is that? And it's like, oh yeah, I got this at a conference through Gala Games. They have a because that's like, I just sent them 50 of these things, and they've got like their own like engraving on it. They got their logo cut out. They look badass as hell. They're all titanium, super lightweight. They look cool. And the idea is that they're going to hand these things out at an event, whether it's this week or, because they just got it in the mail today. They love them. They think they're cool, but
sweet.
But like, I don't know if it's going to be like at the event they're at now, because I shipped it to a special like hotel, so I'm assuming they're at an event. Or if it's going to be later down the road. But the point is that like they're going to give these things away, and then people are going to put them in their wallet, and then they're gonna, pull them out and open a beer with it at a party, and then people are gonna be like, "Yo, that's cool. What is that?" And they'd be like, "Oh yeah, Gala Games. It's this really cool company that does blockchain gaming, and I think that they're gonna be like a huge part of the Web3. Have you heard of them?" It's like, no. Okay, well, cool. Then Gala gets brand awareness organically because people used a bottle opener at a party. I mean, seriously, like it makes sense. It makes sense for brands to actually invest in buying this stuff, and especially when they buy it bulk, they get like a pretty big substantial discount compared to like what an individual would get in the store. So it's like it could genuinely pay for itself, which is
Yeah.
the point. But with a lot of merch and stuff, t-shirts, whatever, it's like that might not get the same kind of impact as a titanium bottle opener card. People are gonna be like, whoa, like that's pretty cool. Like, I mean, maybe I'm again just a little bit too optimistic, but I do think that I think that a bottle opener card would be a great conversation starter. And I also think that doing like branded art plates, for example, can add even more value to an individual. That's not something you're gonna be showing around to other people per se,
Right.
but it's like to have a link to branded art plate or a Gala branded,
Absolutely.
you know what I mean?
I've always loved Dave's
cool.
product. That arc plate product is substantial in so many ways.
A limited edition casino coin one that's made out of titanium, not stainless, and it's anodized. I mean, that's possible. It's going to get scratched, but I mean, it's like whatever.
Absolutely.
You typically keep this thing in a safe or something anyway, or in some place.
Right.
But it's like you could literally have it anodized to titanium, and it would fulfill the same purpose and it'd be fine. But to have a titanium version of it would just be kind of cool. Like, Well,
let's go full circle with this. We're gonna end the show in just a couple minutes. I do want to give Tyler some numbers, though. I think it's just really funny here. Okay, so we're juggling around this concept of the mobile business called, or the kiosk of sorts in Las Vegas, where 40 plus
million,
many of them entrepreneurs. So to gross $1 million with one kiosk, we would need to sell 33,000 units per year, 91 units per day. Okay, that's at a $30 sale price. I've already crunched some numbers. I think 91 units per day is very feasible. Anyways, I'm kidding, but crunch some numbers, man. Let's have some fun with further conversation. Hey, everybody. Gambling Savant is, of course, back in action at some level. Things are really going to take a big turn for what I got in store for my life, for my future. I am taking a big risk. I'm taking a major gamble, calculated. That is the main word I want to express. Very calculated. And hey, Tyler Boone's got a lot of promising things ahead of him as well. A very bright future, as we all know. If I have anything to do with that in the future, we shall see. But the conversation is fun nonetheless. Okay. There's gonna be more of that. And thank you for tuning in, everybody who participated in the chat, and those of you who will watch it later today or in the days to come. Okay. Thank you for having interest in crypto in our lives and our ventures. The channel is going to change for the better, for the audience sake, and for my own, day in, day out routine with the channel and what I want to show and present to everybody in the content. So look forward to that. I certainly do. I can't wait to meet with you again, Tyler. It's always a pleasure. It really is. I mean, it's just effortless. It's great conversation. And the beauty of it is it doesn't end here. We've got a lot more to talk about and further follow-ups on many different topics, which is that's just a fun and fulfilling relationship for me. And I really, truly enjoy it. So, hey, everybody, stay safe. Keep going down the trail that you're on. Put in hard work and put one foot in front of the other. Not every day is going to be easy. Not every day is supposed to be easy. You don't have good without bad. Okay. You can't distinguish good without bad. So really appreciate the good days and the bad days, learn from them and grow from them. And let's all continue on the trail. All right. Life is a journey and we're right in the thick of it. So everybody stay happy and healthy. You as well, Tyler, and see you on the next one, man.
All right, bro. Thank you so much.
It's been fun. It's been fun. Talk to you later.
All right. See ya.